Tell me a little bit about yourself growing up. Like, what was your household like?
Well, I grew up Hispanic, obviously. My dad was
His
a
panic.
Hispanic.
I'm
My
just
dad
kidding.
was a professional boxer, and
Yeah.
slash drug dealer, and he got arrested when I was 9 years old. And so from that point forward, my mom was working like 2, 3 jobs, bartending, being a bakery, working in the bakery, and like working for us. So I kind of got to see like the different lifestyles between fast money and like money coming easy, like having clothes and shoes, like abundance of shoes, and like how I didn't value any of it, and then,
Mhm.
like, seeing how hard you have to actually work for something like that, for, like, an
Right.
honest living, and we never went without with my mom, like, my mom's like a superhero to me, but I seen that, and then around 12 years old, we had a lot of free time, my mom was always working, so we're getting into trouble, like, I'm 12, my brother's 15, and we're drinking when we're babysitting and stuff, and, like,
Yeah.
we're starting to dip our toes into, like, the world,
Breaking
and
into the liquor cabinet and
yeah,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
so, like, I grew up thinking that, like, I knew God because I had an experience when I was 7, like, I did the Lord's Prayer and stuff like that. I grew up thinking that I had to understand.
Catholic?
I was not sure, I was, like, Christian Catholic, like, I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was taught both, and I just knew that I believed in Jesus. I didn't think too hard on it, right?
Yeah.
And then, when I was 12, I was just watching a bunch of, entertainment, and I just kept hearing, like, a lot of negative things in the music, stuff that you always see, like, drug, sex, money, and then one thing specifically stuck out to me was a Jay-Z lyric from his song Empire State of Mind where he's like, "Jesus can't save you, life starts when the church ends." And so I
Mhm.
was like, "Yo, like, that's blatant."
That's
Like,
who I listened to a lot growing up was
really?
Jay-Z.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and me too, and so that's why I was surprised, and I was like, "Well, if this is, like, what the world's pushing out, like, what music does God have for me?" And so I literally typed in, like I had my brother typed it in, he's like, "God's music," or something like that, and it came up this song, "Worthy Is the Lamb," and we played it, and because growing up, I had heard the gospel, like, all I needed was, just a little bit of, like.
You know who Jesus was, you just didn't know who he was in your
Right,
life.
right, exactly, and so, like,
Mhm.
I knew the gospel, but I didn't know Jesus, and so, like, when that song played, I submitted and gave my life to him. At that point.
Worthy is the lamb.
Yeah,
That song?
that
Yeah.
one, "Seated on the Throne."
That's a
Here
good song.
It's a great song, man. Like, that song literally changed my whole trajectory of my life, changed my life. Because when it played, I received the Holy Spirit, like, I received, Jesus, and I'm not at church, right? I'm just at home. There's nothing no one preaching to me, like, I just received him, and I, like, fell to the floor and cried, and at that point in my life,
Face down,
face
worship.
down, like,
Yeah.
all in tears, and I never experienced, like, crying from joy, like, I didn't grow up in church, so I didn't know, like, the traditions and stuff like that. All I knew was that my personal experience, what I was having in that moment,
Right.
but I knew that everything had changed. Like, I felt like my old self die. I knew that I was going to, change my life from that day forward.